So how did you come up with the idea of the four tendencies specifically? Was there kind of a moment that it just hit you, or was it a gradual process?
Well, it was sort of both because as I was thinking about Better Than Before and trying to understand patterns about when people could or couldn't successfully change their habits, I was very struck by different things that people said that, for whatever reason, didn't ring true for me or I didn't really understand. And one of the most important conversations was when a friend said to me, um, I don't understand because when I was in high school, I was on the track team and I never missed track practice. So why can't I go running now? And I thought, well, why not? Because it's the same person, it's the same behavior. At one time it was effortless, now she can't do it. So I was seeing patterns like that and trying to make sense of them, but I didn't really understand how they all fit together until one day. So that was the gradual part. And then the epiphany part was I was sitting at my desk, right where I am, right this second. And I was looking at my to-do list and all of a sudden the word expectation just like came into my mind, and I realized that we all face two kinds of expectations: outer expectations like a work deadline or a request from a spouse, and then also inner expectations like our own desire to keep a New Year's resolution, our own desire to get back into practicing guitar. And when I realized that it was expectations, I started seeing that how people responded to outer and inner expectation determined how all these patterns fit together. And so that was this huge moment of realization for me.
So, what was going on with your friend then?
So my friend was an obliger, I now know. There's upholders, questioners, obligers, and rebels. And now if my friend said that, I'd be like, oh, well, you're clearly an obliger, which means you readily meet outer expectations, but you struggle to meet inner expectations. And so and I'm sure you know this pattern well. It's like the biggest group. This is the tendency that the largest number of people belong to, for both men and women. And so this is somebody who doesn't have trouble showing up when a team or a coach is waiting, or when a trainer is waiting, or when a friend is waiting who's going to work out with you, or when you're thinking about your duty to be a role model for somebody else who you really want to exercise. Those outer expectations that person will meet, but when it's just their own desire to do it, like, oh, I should really do that, I need to make time for myself and do that, I need to get more motivated and do this, those inner expectations are a challenge. So she's an obliger.
Other
Yeah.
things crowded out because they haven't
Well,
been accountable to someone else, or
Well, it's interesting because obligers will often use language like it's crowded out, or there's no time for me, or I put others first. To me, it's like it's not really it's not like that. It's not like who's first in line. It's outer accountability versus inner accountability. So like a different form that this takes is somebody who says like, well, of course I have no time to exercise because I'm a doctor who gives 110% to my patients. I'm always there for my patients. I'm at the hospital all the time. I have no time to go to the gym. That's also obliger because it's saying I'm meeting outer expectations, those of my patients, but not meeting my inner expectation. And so the answer is not to create more time. The answer is to create more accountability.
very interesting.